Hello, hello. So this is the first podcast that I'm doing. I know this is the Edinburgh Yarn Festival week, and I'm in Edinburgh. No, I'm not in Edinburgh. I'm in Vancouver, Canada, and there is no Edinburgh Yarn Festival for me. However, there is something very close that is called Fivers West, and it's our own very personal, very small, and very quaint yarn festival. Fivers West was yesterday and today, and so I went with a couple of friends, and you'll see some footage of it. I bought only 20 skeins of these very rustic, beautiful wool. It's homegrown. Bruce husband and Sonia Gregg from the Shuswap wool, 100% Shuswap. And for those of you who don't know, the Shuswap is about 4 hours east of Vancouver, in the Okanagan region. It's the Shuswap region actually. So this is Merino and Romy, and it cost me about $22 a skein, which has 288 meters, so it's a lot. I have 10 skeins. I have enough to make maybe a sweater for my husband, he's pretty big, and a sweater for myself, hopefully. If not, it'll be just a sweater for my husband. So that's all I bought, but there's beautiful things there. It was amazingly beautiful, very expensive, all handmade, super crafty. I also got to see my friends from the Vancouver Lace Club, and they had a demo there, beautiful things. They are elderly ladies, some of them are a little bit younger, but pretty older, and I am afraid for the future of lace, that not so many people know how to do it. I am very crafty, and I like all those old Victorian crafts that actually nobody knows what to do with them. It's like, so what do you do with the doily? Well, it's just pretty. What is it for? I don't know. So I like to keep them going, and I'm going to become part of the lace club probably, and start doing just bobbin lace. I do crochet lace and I do knitting lace, but this bobbin lace seems very involved and difficult. In any case, enjoy the festival, and I'm going to start a podcast, a regular knitting podcast mainly, but I also like all things Victorian. I do bread, I brew my own beer, I have my own organic garden, and I do bonsai. I bonsai trees, and I have a beautiful collection. So they're young, but they're beautiful. So I think I'm going to show all of the crafts, and it'll be the focus on a handmade life. So enjoy. So I'm here with my friends, and we're in the Agriplex building, and we're going to go to Fivers West. We don't know what to expect, but look at this beautiful, beautiful crocheted poncho that my friend made, and I'm wearing my sweater. So, Isabel, you didn't knit something?
No,
okay.
Sorry.
She's a very good knitter too.
Drugs. Complete drug hooking. I haven't read this one. I read this one. And she uses scissors to cut it all out. It's kind of
That piece over there, I did was
I have a phrase for it.
we had those before.
I did it for
He didn't feel so hot.
Like that usually takes you back.
very responsive. But bobbin laces.
And I've seen other pieces like this one. But after the old pieces are over there, and then sort of, what I'm trying to do is show you the little techniques, and then that's just a larger It is. It's one of my favorites. This is actually the top of a camisole or a nightgown. Yeah. I'm doing a talk over in the corner this afternoon at some time, so I will talk about other events that are coming.
Focus on small and then like fillers sort of.
There, Irene's doing bobbin lace there. It looks to me like she's using maybe 30 bobbins. This would have had, we counted once when I had nothing else to do. There's about 400 threads, and every thread would have a bobbin. You do a half an inch a day. And they're probably done professionally. They're not done as a hobby.
Oh my word.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Aren't you glad you live now?
Can you tell me again what's the time period?
Okay, this one is supposed to be 1560.
1560.
This is the only one that doesn't really belong to me. It belongs to the Costume Society, but I'm curator and I can use things like this, and this is about educating the public, of course. So that central strip is reticella, and the rest of it is essentially embroidery on linen. So, and then they cut it away, and then they do filling stitches. This is done with very long stitches over the open space, and actually it starts off with solid fabric, and then they do a long freestanding stitch, and then they go back and do buttonholing stitches or weaving stitches in between to create the pattern. Then they cut the back fabric away. So this is the same as this. I put this over here though because this is about technique, but it's the same idea. This is much later though.
Okay.
See?
So beautiful. So this one, same technique. You first do the
It's a long
stitching and then
stitch, yeah,
take out the.
and then you make a grid, and then you sew the patterns all
Okay.
in. It actually, in many respects, it ends up looking like this. But this is drawn thread work. So you start off with solid fabric here,
Yes.
and then you
And then
pull
you pull
all
the
the
threads,
threads
yeah.
out, and then you stitch
Wow,
the
this is
remaining threads
beautiful, pull thread.
in with patterns.
Wow. I know pull thread. My grandma still makes
Oh,
pull
yeah,
thread.
yeah. Good.
Yeah. In Mexico.
Ah,
Okay, can you show me again the
Sure,
next?
sure.
You're just saying the dates. So the dates.
so these are the very end of the 17th century. So as far as I know, these are about 1685, 1690 through to about 1700. And these are buttonholing stitches. This is Venetian point. This is point plat de France. So this is, the techniques are much the same, but the buttonholing stitches here are, I have this in coarser versions as well, but it's quite fine. A lot of times this is how convents would support themselves. The nuns would do the work and then they would sell it to the wealthy, and that's how they would keep the convents financially solvent. So then these are all bobbin laces. So this is done with needle and thread. This is done with bobbins, the wooden pegs that have the thread wound onto them.
Like Irene is doing.
Yes, exactly. So this is more of a weaving process. This is stitching, this is weaving. This is weaving, as are these. So
And-
these are probably somewhere between about 1730 and 1750. But a lot of times the laces are recycled. So it might have been made in 1730, but somebody's still wearing it in 1760.
Like they
Because-
pull it out of one dress and then put it in a more modern
Exactly.
dress of the
Yeah.
time.
Oftentimes it happens with the fabrics themselves, actually. A lot of the 18th century dresses are very badly sewn. They're just tacked together because the value was in the fabric,
Yeah.
not in the garment.
So they can
So every
undo it.
5
and then-
years or
yeah.
so, they take it apart and remake it into a different style.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you
Smart.
so much. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is very
you're welcome.
beautiful.
So are those like different techniques, like from different
This
places?
this is needle and thread. This is bobbin. This is bobbin. This is bobbin. This piece is a scrap, and it's pieced and whatnot, but you can handle that one.
Wow.
So you can imagine the skill.
It's amazing. Like,
But see,
it's
a lot
so
of times
fine.
the girls, mostly girls, did the work, but they would have started to work with bobbins to make simple braids as soon as they rolled in.
I'm going to walk.
Yeah. Wow. You can learn all kinds of things.
So, thank you.
Where I would have dug with it.
Lady.